I, 34F, live with my husband, 35M, and my three kids from a prior relationship, 10 to 15. He has a brother, 19M, who got his girlfriend, 18F, pregnant, and she just graduated from high school. He's in this weird position. Their parents just sold the house in March and moved into a one-bedroom condo. His brother has been sleeping on their couch and told us that he had plans to move out, but they fell through when he found out he got his girlfriend pregnant. Her parents won't let him move in. He knows we have a guest bedroom and asked if they could stay in there for a few months until his girlfriend is able to get a job and they can get their own place. My husband and I argued about this for about a week straight. I was 100% against it because I know they'll never leave. If it was just for a couple of weeks, then I really wouldn't care, but they wanted to wait until the baby was 2 months old, so that's 6 months here, and I know they'll both have every excuse for why they just need a couple weeks. I've been the one who does all of the housework. I've been a Psalm for the last 5 years, and it can be a bit much at times. My kid's father is completely out of the picture. My husband does provide financially, but really doesn't help, and that is fine. We both agreed to this when my kids and I moved in with him, but I'm gonna be the one who, instead of having to raise 3 kids, I'll now have my 3 plus his brother, the girlfriend, and their baby. I know when he and his brother are at work and my kids are in school that I'll have to constantly tend her during the pregnancy and after the baby is gone, and then they'll have excuses. I laid out all of my concerns with him, and he seemed to be dismissive of me / brushed them off. We argued about this for a week straight. My best friend told me to give him an ultimatum, so I did. I was super firm. He backed off, apologized, and went silent for the rest of the night. He just looked down and depressed like he was on edge. Why, I'm starting to feel bad. He's looked so paranoid / afraid since I gave him the ultimatum. It did accomplish the goal of them not moving in. 2 days later, he comes home from work traded in his truck for a Jeep I wanted. I have a minivan that I got 4 years ago, and now that my kids are older and my oldest is about to start driving, it's not necessary. I test drove one a few weeks before, but we didn't have the money and my minivan's trade-in value was not what we had hoped, and he didn't want to have to make payments on it, which I totally understand. He said that we could probably upgrade in the future, maybe next year, and then he bought one anyways. Then we drove back to the lot where we picked up an old beater he got for himself. I was very appreciative but really confused because I was fine driving the minivan. When I asked why he did that, he just said, "I want you to be happy," and smiled, but in a really nervous voice. Then the next day, he hired a cleaning service to come in and do a deep cleaning of the house. Then he said that one of the women on the crew is gonna come by every Monday and Friday so that I won't need to worry about it anymore. He's normally very money conscious on everything and really into savings / investing, but seemed to do this without batting an eye. His final thing is that he's been on a huge health tear. Neither one of us would be viewed as unhealthy, but hey, who's perfect? We have a little gym in the garage, and he used to go there for like 15 to 20 minutes a few times per week, but ever since then he's been in it for like 2 to 3 hours per day, and he isn't eating any chips at the house or any takeout food. He's like super strict on some strange diet. There's more to it, but I'm just rambling. When I asked him if he's doing this because of the divorce comment, he got really nervous again and was like, "I just don't want you to be upset with me." He's done so much for me and my kids, and I've been king of feeling like a bad person after this, but I just can't stand the thought of his brother and girlfriend moving in was giving me such bad anxiety, and I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't want to go to my friend about this, so I asked my parents what I thought about this, and they were mad at me. They both said that I should let his brother and the girlfriend move in with us. My dad was saying that he always felt bad that he didn't make enough money for my mom to be able to stay at home with my sister and I when we were growing up. We lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house most of my life. I always admired both of my parents. My dad was a manager of a small retail store, and my mom worked at the post office, but neither of those jobs paid well. Then my mom tried to comfort him / not make him feel bad by saying that she didn't mind helping out financially, that every single mother she knows would gladly trade positions with me.
Comment 1. YTA. When you say divorce out loud, other party starts to think, what would I do if divorce is happening? His acronym indicate 2 possible scenarios. 1. He already told his brother they can move in and now eliminates your argument of don't want to clean after them. 2. He considered divorce and decided it is not as bad as it sounds. Realistically speaking, a single childless 35-year-old man with good income has better chances to find a new decent partner than single jobless 34-year-old women with 3 kids. Comment 2. NTA They probably want to freeload off your family and force you to babysit for them because you're already a ZAM, one more kid wouldn't make a difference or some BS like that. Don't let them move in. They'll probably not leave like you said. Plus it's not like your husband will have to do any work once they move in. He's at his job all day. That responsibility will fall all on you. My wife, 30F, and I, 30M, have been married for 6 years and together for 10. We have a 4-year-old boy. A few months ago, I donated my kidney to her when she needed a kidney transplant. We were extremely lucky as I passed all the match tests, blood type compatibility, tissue typing, cross-match test, PRA test etc., and I was considered a healthy donor after extensive testing, CT scans, MRIs etc. The surgery itself took a few hours, and we did home recovery for 3 months. I got a lot of thanks from my wife's parents, her siblings, and then finally, of course, my wife. I however did this without hesitation because I loved my wife. But a month after our recovery, my wife confessed to me that cheated on me many years ago. It was a one-night stand. She said she couldn't keep it in anymore, especially after the massive sacrifice I made. She seemed extremely remorseful, and I believed her that it was a one-time thing. I was however extremely distraught. I got frustrated and extremely angry, and did not speak to my wife for a week. Last weekend, I asked my sister if she could have our son for the weekend, and my sister agreed. The reason for this was because I wanted to blow off a lot of steam and I did not want my son in the house for that. And I did. I don't usually get angry much, but last weekend, I did. All my pent-up emotions bubbled up and I said a lot of horrible things to my wife. I wanted my wife to say something, but she just said nothing and was crying, and that angered me even more. I then made her call her parents and siblings to confess about her cheating. That was the first time my wife said something, and she seemed really hesitant about it, but I told her I would leave her if she didn't. And so she did. She called her parents and her siblings and told them that she cheated on me. That finally made me feel better, and I lost a lot of my anger after that. My wife, however, has just been crying a lot, but I'm not really in the mood to console her. All I'm telling my wife is to not cry when our son is there and to do it alone in the bathroom or somewhere else. What we are going through is still a work in progress and I think our marriage can survive, but I will need some time to get over it. Comment 1. Absolutely not. You are not the asshole in this situation. Your wife's infidelity is a complete betrayal, especially considering the selfless act you performed for her. It's understandable to feel hurt, angry, and betrayed. Your feelings are valid, and you have every right to express them. Comment 2. That was an interesting move to have her call her parents. I don't think it was a humiliating act for her. She might feel shame and embarrassment as well. She should, and it is a sign that she is truly sorry and willing to go through the shame to learn her lesson. It is easy to just say sorry, but to confess to her family is showing that she wants to take the first steps towards reconciliation. Good luck and best wishes. I, 22F, am due to give birth to my husband, 28M, and I's daughter in about 2 weeks. A few days ago we were discussing birth plans and the topic of who will be in the room came up. He said exactly this: your mom, your sister probably, Ava, my best friend, and obviously my mom will be in the room, correct? This caught me off guard since we had spoken about it at an earlier time, but I just corrected him because I thought he might have forgotten. So I said actually, I would prefer it if she wasn't in the room during the birth, but I don't mind if she comes in to visit before the birth and after the birth. He immediately got upset and said, so you get to have family in the room but I don't? It's my baby too. I explained again that any of his family are more than welcome to visit before and after the birth, but I'd prefer not to be spread eagle in front of his family. I especially don't feel comfortable with his mom being there at all because she had shamed me and judged me during my entire pregnancy, but I was willing to compromise. He doesn't feel like he can't have any family there. He still wasn't listening to me and started to get mad and yell at me. He was really set on the fact that it's his baby too, which I already know, but like I said, I just don't want them there during the birth. I don't mind before and after. He still is upset about this and has been avoiding me since this argument and will only talk to me in the morning when I make us breakfast. I'm afraid of when I have the baby that he won't accept my wishes and still let her in the room, or worse, he just won't show up at all. Comment 1. NTA and I really don't understand all these posts about people in the delivery room. Birth is not a spectator sport. It might be his baby, but it's your body. When he can push out a kid, he can have his mommy there. Make sure you tell the nurses you don't want her there and they'll eject her when she tries to stay or he tries to sneak her in. Comment 2. I'm going to be a grandmother for the first time this year. Am I excited? I'm over the moon. Would I love to see that little baby come into the world? Absolutely. But I know my daughter-in-law and son most likely want that moment to themselves, so I won't even ask. That baby will be just as beautiful when the new mommy has had some time to get herself settled. My mom and Harry have been married for 3 years. They have 2 under 2 together, and then there's me, 17M, who isn't Harry's kid. Harry comes from a huge family. His parents are still alive, he has 5 siblings, they have something like 16 kids between them and then spouses. And all of them are coming to stay at our house for 2 weeks starting Saturday. I found this out Sunday night. Harry said some of his relatives are bringing tents and others are bringing camp beds so they can all fit. But they'll be here for 2 whole weeks and a bunch of them are also going to be sleeping inside. Harry is so excited and my mom is all hyped up for it too. She isn't close to her family, so she's looking forward to having family around. I personally can't wait for them to be gone. I hardly know any of them, and even though they are technically family by marriage now, I don't know that I'll ever consider them my family. My mom pulled me aside yesterday and told me I'm not acting excited and she can't understand why, because she thought I'd want to get to know my extended family. I told her that's a lot of people I don't know or care about coming to stay and it's not going to be comfortable. I said a day would be a lot, but 2 whole weeks sounds like hell to be stuck with Harry's huge Ash family. My mom started whisper scolding me, saying they're our family too and how she expected me to be more eager to have them here. I told her I'd prefer to stay with a friend for the 2 weeks. I said they'd even have an extra room to use for everyone. My mom said that was such a negative attitude to have. She told me I'll finally have grandparents, aunts and uncles, some cousins even. Don't I want that? I told her I would much rather be comfortable in my friend's home. Then last night mom told me the way I talked about our family wasn't okay and that if I really want to go to my friend's house and if his parents are cool with it, I could, but she will be disappointed and she will still expect me to change my attitude. I was like, thank you, but mom told me the way I described being around Harry's family as hell is not okay. Comment 1. NTA. It's totally inappropriate for anyone to tell you what you should think or feel. It would be one thing if your mom said, I understand that's how you feel and I can see how this situation could be frustrating for you, but I'm asking you to give it a try for the sake of our family. That would be reasonable and respectful of her. That's not what she did. Her attitude suggests that your needs will be ignored during the 2 weeks that this massive family will be in your home, so you're not an asshole for wanting to go stay with a friend. Comment 2. Nah. Large families have a chaotic energy that looks awful and warlike if you haven't grown up with it. It is definitely not how it is in the movies or on TV shows, with everyone squabbling but supporting each other through thick and thin, which is the illusion that your mom probably longs for. You should not have to force yourself to pretend to like a family you don't know right away, because that's insane. Family relationships aren't created by saying, hey presto, now we're family. Your mom is assuming you feel just like she does, and that's not fair. but you have to explain why you feel different than she does and why it feels like hell. Families do work best by communicating feelings. BTW, as much as it sounds awful, chances are that with 16 kids, I bet there's someone who feels just like you. Unless you're stuck babysitting all of them. Comment 3. NTA, just because your mother is excited about having a big family doesn't mean you have to be. As a compromise, you can stop by periodically to socialize but go to your friends to stay. Your mother is like too many parents that assume blended families just magically come together, then blames the kids when they don't feed into the fantasy. She's not being fair to you, and as the adult she should do better than trying to guilt trip you.